Hi everyone, welcome to Monday Mentoring Moments for Young Women. I'm Dr. Chris Strobel, award-winning author, keynote speaker, founder, and a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. The way our society is set up, we're all placed in categories. An example of categories is race, class, and gender. The problem with these categories is it's on a hierarchy, and you have those at the top and those at the bottom. Those at the top enjoy more power, more privilege, and more property than those at the bottom. So here's an example. If you are a male, if you are white, if you are upper class, then you have more power, property, and privilege than someone who's on the bottom if you are black, female, and working class. That's where the inequality comes from. And to change that, that's a structural problem. You have to change the structure of those classes, of those categories. And the way that you change the structure is by laws and public policy. You got to change that. And that is why you have people working so hard to change the law as it relates to minimum wage, to increase the minimum wage, to level the playing field. This is why you have people fighting so hard for equal pay, that if you're a woman and you do the same job as a man, you should get equal pay. Currently, that's not the case. So how do you change that structural problem? You have to change the laws and public policy. And how do you do that? You do that by voting. And that is why everyone under the sound of my voice must be registered to vote. You want to vote in local, in state, and regional elections. And why? If you want minimum wage to increase, you got to vote. If you want equal pay, you got to vote. That's how these structural imbalances are going to change. That's going to take time. So what can you, a young black single mother, what can you do now in the meantime to take more control over your life? And one thing that you can do is get a better handle of your personal finances. And this is what today's Monday mentoring moment is all about, giving you ways that you can get better control over your personal finances. So number one is you got to keep a budget. You have to have something written in terms of what you have coming in, your income, and what you have going out, your fixed expenses. Here's an example of my budget. It just needs to be a spreadsheet like this. How much do you have coming in? How much do you have going out? And I know you may say, well, you're going to keep it in your mind. You need something written, a budget. So that's step one. The second point is you want to work with a professional. How do you find a professional? You can call 211 United Way or the United Way in your area. They have a database of agencies, organizations that assist those in the community, and their organizations probably in just about every community that will assist you with your personal finances. And the first thing they're going to tell you to do is, number one, let's track your spending. Where's your money going? And the way that you can do that, you might use your debit card for all expenses that month. And then when you get the statement, you go through and you highlight, what did I spend on food and gas? So they are first going to say, you got to track your spending to know where you are. And then they will help you create a budget. I mean, they have these templates. They do it all the time. They're professionals. They can help you create a budget, put what your expenses are, the date that they're due, and how much it is. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel more in control of your life if you have a budget. And the best way to get that is to work with a professional. And then the third point I want to make is you got to be patient with yourself. I mean, it's going to take time for you to really get the hang of having a budget, making sure that you can pay everything, you're not in the red. It might just take you time. I'm talking about a year or two. And then even after you've done well for a while, something may happen and you're in the red again. So you know what? You just have to start over. And if you're working with a good financial counselor, she's not going to shame you. She's going to say, okay, let's just go back to zero and let's start all over again. And that's what you have to do. And you have to be patient with yourself, but you got to get started. You have to have a budget. So 3 things that you can do to gain more control of your personal finances is, number one, you got to have a budget sheet just like this spreadsheet. with your income coming in and what's going out, your expenses. You want to work with a professional. They're trained in personal finance, financial literacy. They can help you. They have all the templates already ready. Even what they'll do is if you have something on your credit report, they already have a letter typed up that they can send you, email you. You just put the name, the address of the creditor and send it to them again. They're trained. They have all these templates already ready. So you need to work with a professional, and then you need to give yourself some patience. It's going to take time to get it together. So those are 3 things that you can do. And so as I started, the way society is set up is we're placed in categories. Examples are race, class, and gender. The problem with these categories is they're set up on a hierarchy. So you have people at the top and people at the bottom. Those at the top enjoy more power, more privilege, and more property. And an example is if you are a white, male, middle, or upper class, you have more power, privilege, and property than someone who is a black, female, working class. And that is a structural problem. And in order to change that, you have to change laws and public policy. That's why you have people fighting for laws to change when it comes to minimum wage and also equal pay. And so that's a structural change that's going to take time. But what you can do in the meantime is get a handle of your personal finances. And these are 3 ways you can do that. So this is today's Monday Mentoring Moments for Young Women. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. And every week when I upload a video on Monday afternoon, you receive notification. If you're watching on Instagram or TikTok, I'll post reels throughout the week, so be on the lookout for that. Again, thanks for watching Monday Mentoring Moments for Young Women. Dr. Chris Strobel, award-winning author, keynote speaker, founder, and a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. See you next week.